forget. And today's our EOS training today, but it's going to be about 20%, EOS training. And then the other 80% is you guys helping each other actually work it out and build it out and kind of challenge one another, ask each other questions, try to poke holes in your strategy and stuff like that. Cause iron sharpens iron, and we're not all here to obviously to just sit back. We need each other's feedback. So what we're going to talk about today is what EOS calls the 10-year target. And this is on your vision traction organizer. So I'll share my screen real quick. And this is this document we're going to be coming back to again and again and again. So can you guys see the vision traction organizer? Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. So we've talked about your core values. We've talked about core focus, your what and your why. And now we're getting to the piece of the vision traction organizer, which this is your 2-page business plan. So now we're getting into the part of your vision traction organizer, what is your 10-year target? EOS says, really, what's the number one goal for your organization in the next 5 to 10 years? So that's my question to you. And the challenge I want to give to you is to be able to answer that question in one sentence, or at least with some brevity and clarity, to be very clear. And also, I want to challenge you to ask everyone on your leadership team, or if you have a smaller team, everybody in your company, what's our goal for this company in the next 5 years? Or you either put a time frame on it, or you can put a revenue target on it, but you want to be very clear about that answer. And you want everybody else to be clear about that answer. So I want to start out with that question, and we'll just I'll go back. I'll stop sharing my screen real quick. Got my stuff all spread out here. Let's see here. Trying to get to this. Oh, here we go. My screen's so big, sometimes things hide on my monitor. All right, stop share. All right, so the question that EOS wants me to throw out there to you is, we want to crystallize the number one goal for your organization in the next 5 to 30 years. So this is on page 14 in your EOS workbook. So this is your larger than life goal. Jim Collins calls it the BHAG, the big, hairy, audacious goal of your organization. If you were to remove all obstacles, remove all limiting thinking, to give a plug to the Limitless name, to really remove the limits on your company, if you could have it exactly the way you wanted it, what would it be? What would that big, hairy, audacious goal be? Here's some examples here. So Coca-Cola, their big, hairy, audacious goal for their company is put a Coke within reach of every human being on the planet. EOS worldwide, to have 100,000 companies running on EOS. They're about to reach that goal, by the way. I think they're at like 80-something thousand right now. Nike, crush Adidas. That's their goal for the next 5 years. Red Balloon, 2 million experiences sold in 10 years. Walmart, become a $125 billion company. Atlas Oil, 5 billion gallons moved. Capstone Publishing helped 30,000 schools achieve their goals to improve literacy. MEI, 1 million endpoints benefiting from MEI's technology solutions. Microlease, 10 million managed mobile assets. And QCS, improving the quality of more than 3 million people's lives every day. So if you could have that, what would it be? And you name the number. It could be 5 years, it could be 10 years, it could be 30 years. But if you were to dream with no limits on that, what would it be? So Doss, I'm going to start with you, especially since everybody's at different stages. Obviously Andrew's goals, Joel Paskey's goals are going to be a lot different than you guys that are really more positioned to maybe do a sell or a succession plan or whatever in the next 5 to 10 years. So Doss, I'll start with you. what kind of time frame would you like to use, and what would that goal be?
So we're looking at a 5-year goal of reaching a $50 million revenue. And coupled with that, for CleanCut to become a household name in the what we call the Arklatex, which is this northeast corner of Texas, and then a little bit of Arkansas, a little bit of Louisiana.
Easy.
For CleanCut to become a household name, not only in roofing, but in home improvement, as well as in the commercial roofing space. So we're somewhat unique in that we have diversified and continue to diversify into other trades. And we have these in-house, and we kind of like what's going on. It seems like that's what everybody in the team is excited about. So we're steering strong in that direction to have all these trades almost become a one-stop shop in this in the sense of I don't know if you all recall Sears, when Sears was servicing home owners in many trades. And that's what we've kind of become in our immediate area.
That's great. Okay, so 5 years, your target's 5 years, and you want to be at 50 million in revenue and become a household name for kind of all home related stuff, not just roofing.
Home
And then you
services.
said commercial as well. So what percentage of that would you like it to be commercial?
We realistically, it would be about 20%, so 20% commercial.
Okay, 20% of revenue.
Yes,
What percentage of revenue is commercial now?
about 15.
Oh, okay. Okay, so 5-year goal, 50 million in revenue, 20% of that commercial. And you said you wanted to branch into Arkansas. And did you name a few other states or?
Louisiana. Yeah, we're right at the northeast corner here, and we already, of course, service in people in Louisiana. We're licensed there. We've not done anything in Arkansas, but as you all know, Texarkana is a city that's in both states.
Okay, so what's your revenue now? What do you expect to end this year at?
Our goal this year is 10 million,
Okay.
and I think we'll hit it. We're on target.
Okay. All right. So I want everybody to take 5 minutes or so, at least 3 to 5 minutes, and weigh in, knowing what you know about DOS's company. What question would you like to ask it, or what would you like to say about that? I want you to give your honest feedback. We're here to challenge each other in a good way, and also really just pour wisdom and shine a light on one another's businesses. So you have a question you like to ask, or do you see a big challenge looming in the distance? Do you have a thought that comes to mind that would help DOS in this journey, because he really wants to get there? What do you think it would take to get there? So Miller, you're next on my screen. What's the first thing that comes to your mind when you think about DOS's big, hairy, audacious goal?
I think that is a big goal. But I think that it's got to be that big, so, that intimidates me. I'm like, my goodness, that's a lot of dollars for a short period of time.
Mm-hmm.
So I don't really know. I don't know what advice I would give, or what even questions I would have, except for I think, yeah, that is big, hairy, audacious for sure.
DOS, what's the number one tool or strategy you're going to leverage to get there in the next 5 years? What's going to make this possible, do you think?
Acquiring some small businesses. So we're pretty close to buying another small roofing company and also a plumbing company. And both these businesses do about $1 million a year right now. So I think I could easily take them. I can easily double these businesses next year. So I think a big part of, I've got a pretty good team they're young, they're ambitious, and the whole idea of acquiring other businesses is really appealing to them. We have successfully acquired a small electrical company, and it's working out well. So, that's a big part of the strategy to get to the 50 million. Also, we build new houses as well, and in building you can reach those kind of numbers pretty easily, really. Not that we are driving towards that as hard as a full-blown builder would do it, but if we built just 10 homes next year, that could add quite a bit of revenue, obviously.
Okay, great.
So, but acquiring other businesses, and when I say acquiring other businesses, sometimes it's just acquiring a man that is already in business. It's a small business, and he really wants to be a part of a team, and so the value is in that man. The value is in that leader, to bring his $1 million into the team and to make it 5 or 10.
Yep.
Are they going to have, you're going to have profit sharing for that guy?
Yes, absolutely. Yeah.
So Joel Johnson, what do you like about that plan? And then I'll ask you, what do you think could make it better to make sure that it actually is realized?
I think it's a good goal. I think 50 million is a lot, but I think it's there in that area that Doss is talking about. I definitely like the idea of acquiring other companies. I've done that in the past, and it just hasn't worked out well for me. Just not having the new owner, the old ownership, having a stake in the game moving forward. But what I've done in the past is just buy their assets anyway, and really didn't want the other companies. So if you're doing a plumbing company where they have a specific license, you would want to keep that person that has the license and
Absolutely.
have something that tethers you guys together for the long haul. Because if they leave, that license leaves.
Yep.
So that's a big deal. So having a profit sharing or some type of long-term strategy to get somebody else to get qualified for the licensing and so forth. I think your commercial is way low. If you're already at 15% to do 20, no, you need to be doing 50% in commercial, because it's so easy, and the dollars are so big. And in the area that you're talking about, there's so many commercial buildings in that geographic area. You have to have more market share. Now, not any farther than Texarkana, but but no, there's plenty of commercial work down there that 50 million is a good number. I mean, it's feasible to see that kind of growth.
What have you used to get your commercial off the ground? I've just not been successful. I prefer commercial work, but I've just not been successful at growing the commercial side. I have a great team. I mean, we have in-house crews doing commercial work and very, very, very skilled. But we've just not been. I can, and one job can make a huge difference, right? You could land a $2-3 million.
Yeah.
And then it blows everything out of the water, but it also could shake up your whole world. And so I'm careful about that. But what have you done specifically to grow your commercial?
Well, it's a lot about relationships, and our commercial business has tanked over the past 2 years, just with new people coming into the market, people coming in just being cheap. A lot of property managers here in Central Arkansas have merged or have gone away, so our market is flip-flopped drastically. But the way that we're growing our commercial division again is through networking and staying in front of those people and bringing our prices down, getting more competitive. We got a little, I don't know, greedy or just complacent a couple of years ago, and prices keep creeping up because we felt comfortable, and then all of a sudden somebody comes in at a lower price and knocks us out.
Yeah.
So relationships are a big thing. We're doing more networking events now that we can, and doing lunch and learns for property managers and business owners that have multiple properties. I like doing, give me your worst leak that's been leaking forever, and I'll fix it for free just to earn your business.
Yeah.
Because that's the leaks are a big deal.
Yep.
Most of the time, if you can fix the leak, for $10,000, are they going to want to spend $50,000 to replace the roof?
Yeah.
No. I tell them, keep your money in your pocket and put it inside your business to make more money, and just give me the $10,000.
Yep.
And I'll fix the leak for you.
Yeah.
And then let me come back next year and we'll do some more maintenance, and let's keep it going until you have some type of storm damage or it just needs to be replaced. So relationships is key, I think.
I heard a guy say a while back, and I think we've used the tagline a little bit, but the whole idea of, we can fix any leak. And standing behind that means a lot to property owners.
So Joel, you mentioned relationships a lot, and you mentioned doing
Yeah.
lunch and learns with property owners to build relationships. What else are you guys doing to network?
Those are the big things. We just had the fair. I've got my sales managers going on a 3-day, I guess, retreat with facility managers for universities, Arkansas Facility Management Association. So it's 2 days worth of classes, and then at night they, have little get-togethers and stuff. So those are great. I mean, that's just that you just bond with people overnight. If you can do an overnight event with your customers, yes, spend the money, spend the time to go do it. Because what's that?
Where did you learn about this particular group? I mean, or did you establish the group?
Oh, no, not me. It's already been there. Just I don't know how we've ever heard about it. They probably sent an email, or just networking with other people saying, hey, are you guys in that group? Or me asking people, hey, how do I get into the facility managers at all the universities? Dude, next year, in the fall, we have this retreat. Spend $500 on a little booth, and then we always take some liquor and some cigars and stuff, and go up there for a couple nights and hand out cigars to the guys, or whiskey, whatever, and let them drink and have a good time. And they tell you whatever you want to know.
Gotcha.
That's right, especially later in the evening.
Yes.
So has anybody worked with Ryan Groth? Ryan, he's got Sales Transformation Group. That's his big thing, is basically training somebody to act in the role of a business development person, and that's all they do is networking. And he's got a big strategy behind that, like you just mentioned, Joel, and also just networking with the right people, going to the right events, and walking into apartment management companies. He's got a whole system for that.
Specifically on the commercial side, yeah.
Mm-hmm.
He's taken our competitor AFCO here from $1 million to like 15 million in 1 year. It's crazy.
Yep.
But
he's effective. Yep. Okay. So great. So Joel, what's one thing that you see could be a limiting factor that you think DOS needs to be aware of as he tries this to grow like this?
Cash.
Yeah.
I mean, because you can spend a lot of money on stuff, and if you don't have a quick enough return, your cash dries up.
Yeah.
So I deal with that myself, because I want to go and do stuff. And all of a sudden I go, oh, dang, we need some more cash. so it's a balancing act on how much you can, do and go out and get stuff. And then if you are working on commercial jobs, we try to get a half down when we do roofs, but a lot of times, so you try the cash flow is a big deal.
Yeah.
And so another little caveat to the cash flow is, if you guys do a lot of commercial work with general contractors, somehow this, the general contractor, subcontractor, something or other builders group has got together and decided for us that the general contractors can hold our money for 45 days starting right now.
Oh yeah.
So we've got a couple of contracts down in Texas and Louisiana with, I can't even think of the name of the company, but they just sent out the memo and said, hey, we know we have net 30 with you guys, but we just changed it to net 45 because this group that, makes the rules, I guess, so that you guys don't need your money for 45 days after you bill us.
Yeah. Yeah.
So there you go with cash flow. So now you're expecting your money at a particular date. Now you got to move it out to net 45 and then hope the mail delivery runs, or if they have electronic transfers or however you get paid. So cash. And I know we just had that meeting a couple times ago with the guy, and he was like, what's the one thing? And we're kind of like, I don't know. What are you talking about? He goes, cash. And I go, yeah, well, I think about cash all the time. I wasn't thinking about it in that scenario, but
Yeah. I will say to all of you guys, what's worked well for me on cash is I've got a dedicated person in the office, a lady that all she does is accounts receivable. She got a few other responsibilities, but her main thing is accounts receivable. And since I've done that, it's really changed things for us.
Man, that's great.
She's obsessed with collecting money.
yeah.
She just it's just really changed the game for us. I don't even think about collecting money, and neither does any of our sales guys. I mean, they just go to her, and it just has really helped us. Yeah, she's
Not made until it's collected, right?
That's right.
She makes it happen. Yeah, she really is good at it. I'm very thankful.
All right, this is great feedback, guys. Chris, I want to give you a minute since a big part of DOS's plan is commercial. I want you to kind of weigh in on that. What are some questions you have, and what's some feedback you have for DOS as he tries to grow the commercial line?
Well, not a whole lot occurs to me, but like the way that I'm growing commercial was just through bidding mostly. You can do the networking. Networking is nice. I've heard that a lot, that networking is the necessary way to grow the commercial side of your business. The way that I've been growing mine is we tend to be the lowest responsive bidder on a lot of jobs. And we are, we can demonstrate that we can do the job. We're a solid company. We've got a proven track record. We can do the work, and we gave you a very good number on the work.
Yeah.
And then what I've been trying to do is just drive more efficiencies through my company so we can provide that low number and still stay in business.
Yeah.
The other thing we do is, you talked about the leak repairs. We do that as well. I've got always got a number of building owners and property manager type people that I'm bringing along. They've got a building, they've got a shopping center, they've got something. We've been fixing the roof. I've been solving their problems for them, telling them, you need a new roof, or you're going to need a new roof soon. You might want to budget for that. Maybe I get it next year. Maybe I get it 3 years from now. Sooner or later, I get it,
Yeah.
That's the way that.
When you're saying you're doing a lot of bids, are you got somebody behind the desk that's doing estimates all day long, or not?
Yeah, I've got an Indian kid. He's an immigrant from India. We're working on his H-1B visa, which is a pain in the butt, but this is what it is.
Yeah.
And he's a good guy. Got a master's degree. He had a 4-year degree in civil engineering, so he's familiar with blueprints. Basically, he came to me with the blueprint reading ability, and I just trained him from there. We're doing the 0700 section, and I work with him all the time. We sit together, we do spreadsheets. Yeah. And he enables me to pump out a lot of bids. Like before that, it was just me, and I do 2 a month because that's all I had time to do.
Yeah. Yeah, no, I've got some friends here that's in the GC type businesses, and they that's what they do, man. They're pumping out 10 large bids every week, and then they just bid them high, and they get 1 out of 10. I mean, that's all they want. So
you got to figure out what's your profit margin. What margin do you need to be at?
Yeah.
Now, do you guys go through a good, better, best type bid, or do you just put your bid together and say?
And those bids, so you just go by the specs, just whatever they spec is what you bid. All they want
you can offer some value engineering So if they want a 60 mil membrane, you could offer 45 mil for a reduced price, save money.
Yeah.
I know Barong Construction is doing a fair amount of commercial roofing, and they outsource a lot of their bids and scopes to Coppermark Public
really?
Adjusting. It's Greg Cannon. He runs Coppermark. He owns Coppermark Public Adjusting. He's very high attention detail guy. He really thinks like an attorney, and his wife writes scopes. And that's how Barong Construction came across Greg and Coppermark is getting his wife to write scopes. And Cannon Barong, the CEO of Barong, said that he's never met anybody that writes as good of scopes as Greg's wife. So that's something to think about too, is outsourcing it if you need a plan B or whatever.
We've
I get
started doing
people.
that too.
I'm sorry. I was gonna say, I get people all the time in country and out of country that have teams of people that do estimates for you. I've thought that if I lost my estimator kid, that I could possibly form a relationship with one of those, pump out the bid.
Good stuff. Dos, do you have any specific questions you'd like to ask everybody about your strategy?
No, I think a lot of, the ideas just thrown out here is good. What you had just mentioned about this outsourcing estimating is something that obviously we get solicited for those services as well. Are you the only one that who here said that they're using that, or any of you guys using an outsource? You are, Joe?
Yep.
For commercial work?
So what they'll do is they'll either take off the plans if it's a plan job, or if it's just a re-roof and we want to send them over the diagram and all the stuff, they'll put all the information together in an Excel spreadsheet, pretty elaborate. And then all we do is look at it, make sure it's what we want, and then add or subtract as we see necessary.
I see. Interesting. And you've had some success with that?
Yeah, it's about $200. Turn it around in a day or two, and we can go on to do something else, and it's $200 bidding cost versus my senior project managers, $70,000 and $80,000 a year to sit there and plug in numbers.
Which company are you using?
Yeah, I was just looking to see if I can find an email from them. I'll let you know as we go through here.
Okay.
Good stuff, guys. Andrew Gasper, do you have any feedback or questions for Dos that you'd like to ask? Oh, he's muted. Let me ask to unmute. Andrew, you with us? Let's see. All right, we'll move along to Joel. What about you? What number would you like to use? 5 years, 10 years? What would you kind of like to make as your big, hairy, audacious goal? And if you could have exactly what you wanted, what would that revenue number be?
Well, let me give you this first. This is Longboard USA. The guy's name is Michael Carey. He does estimating. You can look up Longboard USA.
Okay.
So I guess as I'm getting older and longer in the business, I'm not as worried about, I guess, $50 million anymore. So my thing is, I first of all, I need the company is printing money. We've been in the area for 20 years, so keeping it consistent, printing money, developing people as they come through our doors as employees, and keeping that going. But I guess my bigger goal, so I wrote down a couple different versions of it, to educate and train the roofing and construction workforce in a manner that they can show their skill sets in a positive way, changing the industry's reputation for the better. So my goal has always been for the workers. For some reason, I can't get it out of my head. So I want to be, like a trainer and help these guys and gals that are in the roofing industry to be able to be more respectable, I guess. The trade that they do is just, I call my guys superheroes.
Yeah.
We go in right before the fire trucks after a tornado, and we're covering houses, and it's raining, it's hailing, it's all that stuff. And, you know, that's what we do. So I want to help the whole industry shine a light on these superheroes that we have, and then get more people in, you know, get the younger kids in here. I call them kids, even, you know, 20, 30-year-olds that aren't going to go to college anymore because there's, you know, whatever, but we need more people in the trade business to be able to keep doing the business because the guys that I know are all old, and they can't do that much longer. So that's my big, hairy, audacious goal, is by the end of my lifetime, is to see some type of change in our industry to get these younger folks some type of platform to get in to the business.
So with that, you know, that's a lot of equipping, that's a lot of training, educating, empowering people. Is there is this a separate entity you're thinking about, or is this something that you just do personally as the owner of PI Roofing, or what are you thinking there?
Well, we kind of do it through here because we have people come through all the time. So I guess I utilize PI as the benchmark, or the path to jump off of to do that. So we try to find new ways to train virtually, on site, in our office. And then how do we go and get those young people, even from high school, whether as their junior year ends and they become a senior next year, let's get them over the summer and do some type of training, or what they call it, internship.
That's great. So for that kind of a goal, I mean, do you have a revenue target for your company, or you just kind of want it to stay consistent in the growth that you've seen over the last few years?
Yeah, I mean, we're comfortable at $10 to $12 million. You know, $1 million a month is great.
So you kind of want, as far as the type of work you guys are doing and the revenue, you'd like that to stay just pretty consistent.
Right.
You're not looking to grow commercial or grow, you just, I mean, you want the growth to stay steady, but you're not looking to do kind of like what DOS is, which is branching into more businesses and stuff like that.
Right. Yeah.
Okay.
I had $100 million goal a few years ago, and that was a few years ago. I'm getting older now.
Yeah.
I turned 50 next year, so I'm going to change my outlook a little bit.
My problem is I got 3 boys, and so I've got to accommodate their thinking. It's crazy, but yeah, but I'm with you on your I'm with you on a desire to level out a little bit, but yeah, what am I going to do?
Right. Well, and I like putting other people in charge. You know, if you got 3 boys that want to take over the business, then okay, y'all do $15 million a piece, and you get to that 50 million pretty quick.
That's right. That's right.
And then you just kind of push from behind and bring more people in and push and lead from the top. Yeah.
Yes.
Delegate and elevate.
Yeah.
All right. So Joel, what do you have any questions specifically for the group on how you can realize that vision? Because that sounds more like a 15, 20-year vision to look back and see all the equipping you did, all the educating, all the ways you helped the industry and help people achieve their dreams. I mean, do you have any specific questions for the group, or do you want people to just kind of weigh in?
I mean, yeah, I guess my thing for the group would be is, how can I help you, in your market? And is this something that you even see to be viable or beneficial in your market? Because I'm, help me either get rid of the idea and go, you know what, it's not a good idea. That can focus on something else, or, I'd love to take people along with me, and you guys would be a great group to say, hey, I'll come down to your place and help train, or, do whatever I can do to help your people be better, so your company's better and more profitable. And, again, we just raised the industry standards.
Yeah.
It's good stuff. So DOS, I'll let you go first. You're the one left on my screen. I'm just going to work across to everybody. What kind of thoughts do you have about Joel's vision? What do you like about it, and what can he do to realize it?
Yeah, I love the vision, Joel, of training and creating training platforms. Me being in other trades, such as, I do have a welding shop, and it seems like I can get welders that have been to college, or technical college, and they can come to you with good training already. I have this small electrical company, and we can get electricians that are already journeymen, and they're skilled. But in roofing, that doesn't exist.
Right.
And I mean, I'm asking the whole group, do you all know of any place where you can go and hire a roofer that went to roofing school?
Not at all.
Okay, so this school doesn't exist. And I've thought of this often. In fact, I built this mock-up outside in our yard. It's quite large, and we've got a flat roof and a roof with all kinds of pitches and all kinds of flashings and every kind of penetration and valley and hips, and everything is on that mock-up. It's quite a large little house, but it's at ground level, so we can teach from it. And we did that with this goal of teaching our guys, and we do. But man, when you're running a business, seems like you don't have time to do that. And we're not disciplined enough to say, okay, stop. And this week we're going to have roofer school,
Mhm. Right.
And then the trainings that are offered through the vendors such as ABC and SRS, they often but it doesn't get promoted well. And it seems like you never can get in. It's always full. If you want to send somebody to go learn TPO, they take 45 guys down in Houston or wherever. And it's a big, so I'm with you, Joel, but it's almost like somebody needs to say, hey, stop, and let's figure this out, and let's create a school somewhere. I thought that GAF was doing something, but I haven't seen it come to fruition. I don't know. So I'm with you on yeah, you're gonna do it. I'll be with you. I'll do whatever I can to help you. But
Awesome. Yeah.
big problem, of course, that we're facing is that the technician is unfortunately now a subcontractor, and might be fortunately or unfortunately, I don't know.
Yeah.
But to have somebody in-house is always been my dream. And people look at me like, you're crazy. Why do you have all these employees? But I like that too, Joe. I love it. But in the end of the day, I'm also now using subs because it's how I make money, unfortunately, but the quality control is so difficult with subs, and you don't know, have they been trained well? Do they know you try and stay on them, but it's very, very difficult. I wish we could all get back to the old school of, if you have a roofing company, that means you've got 3 or 4 roofing crews and they work for you, and you alone, you trained them, or you got them somewhere where they were trained, but I get a lot of flack for even thinking that way, but I admire you for even bringing it up.
So you mentioned service guys that are subs.
Yeah, I mean, here in our area, and I'm sure most of these guys would agree, the way that they sell roofs and then they give it to a subcontractor to do. So there's no technical training.
Right. Yeah. So for the re-roofs, subs are the biggest thing, and we try to not necessarily train our subs on how to do a roof, but show them how we want it done.
Yeah.
And then when my QC guy goes by and they're not doing it that way, we stop the job and then they redo it. But our service guys are all W-2 employees of the company.
Yeah. Yeah.
If they're going to have to flash a chimney or do something like that, then they're actual employees.
Yeah.
Okay.
But you train them, because there's no place for them to go get training and then come to you.
Right. Yeah. For the service guys, absolutely. Yeah. And the ones that seems like the ones that come in and they go, I've been, doing this for 5 years and I've been working for this company, that company. They go, I don't know if you're going to fit in here. And they're like, what? Everybody wants me to work for them. I'm like, yeah, but you've got bad habits. And they get upset with me, but I'm like, look, I'm just being honest with you.
Yeah.
And I show them the NRCA handbook, all the details.
Yeah.
This is how it's supposed to be done. It's not Joel's way. It's the NRCA, or it's the manufacturer's installation instructions. They made the stuff.
Yep.
So we really need to do it the way that they say to do it. It seems to be pretty easy to me, but everybody's got their own idea of how much
Yeah.
caulking you should put around a roof. And I'm
But-
like, oh,
Yeah, I think the only thing that comes to mind for obviously the big one is Storm Ventures Group training, but that's an
Mhm.
online course. So there's a massive gap between what you can learn, obviously watching a video and having something in your hands.
Mhm.
So so that seems like there's big opportunity there for that. Andrew, I'd like to get your feedback as somebody who's you're a very passionate learner, you're a go-getter, you invest a lot in training, and as a younger guy excited to grow your company, what do you like about Joel's idea, and what do you think would help to realize that vision?
So if I understood right, trying to get younger people in it, you know, train them the right way to actually go back a little bit. I think most of the organizations out there right now, especially some of them, you know, these organizations that get started, not a lot of them really know what's actually going on with roofing. They know how to sell it and they know how to talk about dealing with the insurance company, but they don't know like what the components are and what needs to go on to the roof. And I think back as for I just went to RoofCon back in October or end of September, and great guy, different mindset, and he got started different ways. Hunter will tell you, who did RoofCon, is he didn't know much about roofing, and he doesn't know he still doesn't know anything about flashing. And it's like you can build an organization. So there is just, you know, people can get started at different levels. I think it's, you know, hey, how can you get them involved and what is their goals? For me, sometimes I feel like I know too much about roofing because I'm educating the homeowner on stuff they don't even need to know. I'm very knowledgeable. You talk to everybody in this city, and some of the people that I've dealt with, most roofers don't know how to explain like what actually the process is. But if you talk to homeowners who really don't care what the process is, you can educate them all you want, but you can bore the hell out of them. So getting younger people in the industry, I feel like TPO, I have an idea of it. I don't know how the hell to install it. Like you put me on a TPO roof and I will know different components and stuff like that, but I wouldn't be able to look at the crews and know what the hell they're actually doing. You put me on an asphalt shingle roof, I know exactly like what every single person is doing on that roof, and I can point out like when they're doing something wrong, and then we get them to correct it. So I've learned, but just because it's like the guy I learned from was old school. Like he roofed for 16 years before he started subcontracting everything out. I just don't know how to do that. I mean, it sounds like it would be like kind of like a nonprofit type thing, or like start an organization where you have a facility for people to purchase like a weekend to come out there and you can train them on a mock house or something. That's really, something that I could think of. I've also thought, hey, we definitely need more people in trades programs and different trade skills. So my thought process on it is like, is there a nonprofit out there that's giving, grants and funds out to different organizations that are encouraging, high school kids to, go out there and do like roofing, HVAC. I don't know if that exists, but also, I mean, for me, it's like I could go work on a crew. I know what they need to do, but there's not a lot of money in it. I mean, for someone who's got to support a family, so why not be selling the job? I don't have to know a lot about the roof to sell it. So that's kind of my thought process. I don't know how to go forward other than like a nonprofit. But coaching and, finding people in the industry that want to start their own company, there's ways you could probably franchise your company out to find younger people and say, hey, are you interested in starting, a PI roofing in another market? And we'll just kind of be a profit sharing. You can take the branding. We've got all that. Here's all the materials and everything. And then you can train them to be up to your standards. And then they just run it without any little influence. There's probably a few ways to that. I'm just not 100% certain. does that help? I don't know if that's kind of like really what you guys were hoping for.
Yeah, no, it's good. That's good. Appreciate the feedback. So yeah, it's either a nonprofit or some way that they have to pay for the training, because I've trained a lot of people over the years, and I paid them to train them, and then they leave and they work for somebody else. So it's not a really good business model. So, but like when you talk about HVAC and plumbers and mechanics, all that, they pay for that 2-year college somehow. They get the degree, and then they go and they apply for a job with somebody and say, hey, I've got this certificate that I went through the training, and now they get hired at a higher rate than somebody just off the street. So I would think it's going to be something like that, where they've got to pay, put something into it to get the credentials.
Yeah. I mean, can you do like a 6-week course or something like that with, in-house education? And then like, when you're working in a hospital, you do clinic, which is like on, real life situations. Do you have a crew where you can put a guy on as a helper, and, they're learning how to do that?
Yeah, I would do it more. I'd probably do it all of that in-house and not on a roof.
Yeah.
Just to get them the training, what they need, a foot off the ground versus 30 feet on a commercial roof, or
True.
on a steep roof. So
Yeah, that's true. You can teach them all the OSHA stuff on a foot off the ground compared to 30 feet.
right, yeah. And that we're not doing the on-the-job training. We're doing warehouse training in a controlled environment, just to make sure that they, everybody's comfortable with stuff. And then once they pass that, however long that takes, then they could go out onto a job as an experienced laborer.
So Joel, are you thinking mostly laborers, or also sales guys, or also people that want to launch their own companies, or all three, or what?
Yeah, unfortunately, laborers.
Gotcha.
I mean, I don't know why it's just labor. And then some of those guys or gals would want to, get it in their system and go, oh my gosh, I can make money at this. Like Andrew's just saying, I could make $25 an hour driving a service truck, or I can go sell a job, make $1,000 every time I sell a job. So some guys it clicks, and other times it's like, nah, I'm not into all that. Okay, fine, that's great. You need people in all those different categories. So main thing is just trying to get more people in, and then have some type of process to see what they want to do, and then help them achieve their goals, whichever route that they take.
Yeah. And I have, like, for me, I mean, I can sell all the jobs, but I also know how to do repairs. I'm not going to go reflash a chimney just because how much time it's going to take me if I do it myself. One of my subcontractors will do it a lot quicker. And,
Oh yeah. Yep.
And they know how to fix that within, an hour or two.
Right.
But for me, I know exactly what they need to do. And so that does help my communication with the homeowner.
Sure. It helps you sell that project for a dollar amount versus, it may be a $2,000 chimney flashing, but the customer doesn't want to pay $2,000. But if you can explain it to me why it's going to be that much versus somebody else that just says, I don't know, I think $2,000, it looks pretty nasty. They're not going to sell it. But if you can say, well, it's because of this and that, and specifically the step flashing and the counter flashing and the mortar and the brick and the steepness or whatever it is, then that's going to help justify your price. So, but then like what you're saying is you can sell that job, in an hour or 2 hours, and then you give that to the crew to go do, and you're off to sell something else. You made your money, but not everybody wants to do that.
Yeah.
So yeah, good stuff.
Interesting. I like that idea. If you could go to a place for even a week or 2 weeks or whatever, and learn from a seasoned, somebody seasoned in the roofing industry, and learn the trade like that. I think that's, I'm not aware of that. Miller, are you aware of anything like that in Dallas?
No, they occasionally have trainings at ABC or SRS. I actually drove to Sherman, which is, an hour and a half from here a few years ago for a TPO thing. And, because I just wanted to understand it more, and I didn't feel like it was really gave that much value to it. So I don't know. I don't know where these crews are getting trained to do it. I guess they
On the job.
Yeah.
Somebody knows how to do it, and they teach the next guy. And whatever.
So
all on the ground.
for at least for you guys on here, if you have any questions about commercial roofing, TPO, PVC, Duralast, modified, all that stuff, I mean, just holler at me and if I can't answer it, I've got, Dale will know. He knows about how coal tar pitch came into being. He was there.
And that's great. I think you and Das with what he wants to grow the commercial side, and Chris Lane, I know Chris is wanting to talk a lot more shop about commercial specifically. So, you guys need to reach out to each other offline and go y'all can go way deeper on that offline or out, outside of this meeting. But yeah, I think that's really interesting. I think that's something that is needed and is not really readily available. So that's really cool. I look forward to hearing more about that. And yeah, I think if you can link arms with the right people, you can be off to the races.
And I apologize, I was out of the meeting for a few minutes, but anybody, point out the fact that, there's so many conferences where we can send our salespeople for training, and that's great and wonderful. But there's no week-long conference for technicians, for service guys.
Right. Yep.
And it seems like if Joel would start that and give us a date when and where we can send our guys, that would be great.
Yeah, and for just a week, I could do that right now.
I think you should.
Because you're not going to learn it all in a week. And
No,
really,
no,
what system you want to start on?
But
Yeah,
8
so that
hours
would-
a day, in 40 hours, you can teach a lot.
Oh yeah, yep.
Yeah.
Okay, so I guess my next question then to you would be is how much you want to pay? What's it worth to you? For have your guy gone for a week?
It's a good question. What are we paying for training salespeople? We send them off for a week and it costs us probably a couple grand when you put it all
Yeah,
together.
it's only like $1,500 every 2 days, or for a two-day conference.
Easily,
1,500.
Yeah. So
Minimum, at least 1,500, 2,000 bucks for a week-long training. Yeah, because
Well,
you
that's
got to
2 days. I know when I go to different conferences for a 2-day thing, it's only $1,500 a person. And then the second guy could bring somebody else, it's $1,000 for them for 2 days.
Yeah.
And I'm just thinking if I could bring 10 people in here for a week, it's a lot of work to train them, for a week. A lot of stuff to do. So
but I think you should think about it, Joel. And if you want
Yeah.
a little bit of input or help with it, I'll be, man, I've got a guy that's been working with me for right at 25 years. There's nothing in roofing that he is not, and we obviously, a big part of his role now is teaching, but man, every roofing company would just love to have him, and there's a few guys like that probably in every city. And man, you get those guys as teachers for maybe during this slower time, like in December and January, do it.
Yeah.
Encourage companies to invest. You bring the whole industry up when you do that. The whole industry comes up and says, hey, we've been talking about how to sell and how to all be millionaires, but sooner or later we're going to have nobody knows how to do what we're selling,
Yep. Or we're just dependent on subcontractors that don't speak English.
Exactly.
And then we're stuck.
Yep. Deal with it every day. I handed a subcontractor last week a bottle of liquid to treat a concrete surface with before we painted it. And it says right on the front, safe for plants. I leave. He goes to the homeowner and says, I don't know if we can do this. I don't think it's good for your plants. I'm like,
oh man.
Well, pretty sure it is. Says so right there in big bold letters. And man, so there's just such a need for that. Well, guys, let's take a 5-minute break because we're going to fill up the full 2 hours with this. We're going to go to Andrew next. We're going to ask him his big, hairy, audacious goal. We're going to encourage him. We're going to also try to poke holes in it and move down the line. So let's take 5 minutes for a bio break or whatever you need and hop back on. And make sure if you do use the restroom, make sure you're muted.
on mute.
This guy's supposed to be here at 12:30.
Okay. Do you mind if I walk around this corner here and smoke a cigarette?
No, go ahead.
Then as soon as you come back, I'm probably gonna,
It's it's 604, right? So it's right behind us.
yeah, I see it. Once you come back, we're gonna put a ladder up and get on that flat roof right there by that alley.
Yeah. Okay.
At 32 will probably just barely hit it, okay? If you'll reach, if I can reach up there.
And we're back. Chris, did you pull over at a rest stop?
Oh, I'm here at a job site. I got to meet a guy at 12:30. He's coming home for lunch. I'm up in Philadelphia.
Oh, Philadelphia. Nice.
Yeah, gonna get a cheesesteak on the way out of here. They do have the best ones.
Man. Yeah,
One advantage you got of Philadelphia.
that's right. Well, if you're going to be leaving in about 20 minutes, then let's let you go first instead of Andrew. And let's just get into that. So for you, for this big, hairy, audacious goal that's supposed to be the next 5 to 30 years, what number would you like to use? Would you like to use a 5-year goal or a 10-year goal?
I'd like somewhere in the 5 to 10 year range, however long it takes to get there. I'd like to get to 20 million in sales, and the split on that is probably around 13 million commercial, 7 million residential.
Okay. So I'm going to put a little pressure on you to decide whether you want it to be 5 or 10 years. Now this is for EOS purposes, right? You can change this, or what you can do with it, whatever you want. But at the end of the day, everybody here needs to put this on their vision traction organizer. That way you've got it on a piece of paper. It's something you actually see every week, and you decide. You can change it if you want to, but at least you've got something to work with, because this actually turns into annual goals. And your annual goals will let you know every year at the end of the year, am I really on track toward this 5-year vision or this 10-year vision? So
Yeah, I think that it's
Go ahead.
doable in 5 years if I can get it going. If I can get the people and mentor and train those people properly.
Okay, so if you can send them to Joel's training, you'll realize this vision.
Yeah, there you go.
That's
So-
where it's going to be at.
So you said 20 million in sales, 13 commercial, 7 residential. So where are you at now? You're doing about 4 million in commercial, right?
We're doing about 4 million. Probably one of that is residential. So it's probably about 3 million commercial, 1 million residential.
Okay. And most of that's retail, right?
Yeah, the residential is all retail.
Okay. And so do you have a rough plan, or do you have an idea of how you'd like to get there in 5 years to go from 4 million to 20?
Yeah, I don't residentially. On the residential side, I was doing 4 million a year years ago on the residential side, and it was very profitable. You talk about cash flow, it's not even an issue. You take a deposit, you got positive cash flow on your whole business. So I don't have a good plan for the residential. I feel like I'm missing that piece. I'm missing something in terms of marketing or something, because we just don't have the leads to drive that. On the commercial, it's doing just fine. We've got the new construction business, and I talked a little bit about that and how we're trying to build that up. And also the re-roof business, which is more profitable, and you sign less onerous contracts. So I've been trying to build that up as well. It's a question of finding people and putting them in place to help to develop the relationships to drive the commercial re-roof business. Like I talked about, you need to solve their problems for them. Now, when it's time for them to get a roof, you've got to have a good price on it, but they're probably going to get 3 bids as opposed to the new construction market, which is going to get 30 bids. And if you're the low bid, then you get it, you know. The other thing I don't like about the new construction market is it's all being done for GCs, and they have these onerous contracts that are 50 pages long, and they basically say they don't have to pay you. I just got a check last week for $85,000. It was I've been waiting. The short version is I've been waiting for that for 2 years, as the GC and the building owner went through litigation. Didn't have anything at all to do with the roofing. Everybody loves the roofer. You know, the GC loves us. The building owner loves us, used us for other work. But they had a dispute amongst themselves that went to court, and I was lucky to get paid at all. And it took 2 years. Like I said, I got that check last week. I'm going to send it to the IRS. That should make them happy. But that's basically where I'm at with it.
So do you have any specific questions for the group on how to aim for 20 million in sales in the next 5 years?
I feel like I've got a good handle on how to do that commercially. Residential retail sales, residential homeowners, like Doss was talking about selling to homeowners. How do you drive the leads to get that business? You know, I don't do well with Home Advisor. I don't do well with the high pressure sales organization. I tried that. You know, you can get plenty of leads from Home Advisor and I guess some from Angie's List and stuff. But at least in my market, it's very competitive here. There's a whole lot of competition, and getting the residential leads, we just don't get enough of them.
What is your closing rate on residential leads?
Probably somewhere around 40%, something like that.
Yeah, which that's good. That's fine. Do you have trucks on the road that's wrapped, branded?
Yes, wrapped, and they're blue over silver, so you can see it's one of my trucks from a mile away.
Okay, so that helps us a lot. And then just, you know, some of the basic stuff like job site signs, we get a lot of work from that. And then we do billboards. I'm not a big, you know, door-to-door guy either. We don't do door-to-door. But calls, I say organic, people still go and find our phone number on the internet, but you know, I'd say a good website with lots of information that shows as much of your company as possible. Those basic things, job site sign, the wrap trucks, some social media. And we do a lot. We try and do a couple of posts every week. And then strong on Google. We do Google AdWords, but we also do Google, I don't know what it's called now, but there's some kind of Google advertising we do that puts us at the top of the page. Do you do all these things I just mentioned?
There's Google like local service ads.
Yeah. That's it. We use that. Yep. Google local service.
And you guys generate a lot of leads. I mean, how many leads do you think you're getting weekly for residential roofing?
Right now it's low. It's about 20 a week right now. But during the good season, that would be 60 to 80.
60 to 80 leads a week.
Yep.
Yeah, that's what I'd like to get.
Yep.
Well, it sounds like y'all can have a good conversation. Again, if you don't get all the answers you need in this meeting, Chris, you guys can talk offline and really go deep on that. And the next EOS training we have is what is your marketing strategy? So we're going to camp out on marketing strategy for 90 minutes to 2 hours. What else though? I don't want to stop it there. What else would you like to ask or want clarity on about that?
Well, I feel like if I had the residential leads, I could take it from there. It's difficult to find people. It's difficult to get salespeople, but I've done all that, and I feel like I could handle all of that. It takes a while to get all that in place, of course. But like right now, I've got one residential salesman, and he's working part-time, you know?
Yeah.
I'd like to have 3 or 4 of them going full-time, possibly look into a sales manager like our friend was talking about at the last meeting.
Yeah.
Are all of or is your residential sales guy 1099 or W-2?
1099.
Okay. So that's why he's working part-time. Does he have another job or something too?
Yeah, he's got another part-time job, and he doesn't want to work full-time. That's his philosophy. He's not trying to join the rat race and kill himself. So
Okay.
he's a good fit for what he's doing. Like if I had enough leads for him to work full-time, I'd need to start looking around for another guy in addition to him, you know, because he doesn't want to go at it 6 days a week, Saturdays, you know, all that stuff.
Okay. So, does he do, it sounds like, is he just taking leads that you guys bring in, or is he out there supposed to drum up his own business? probably not door knocking, but
He runs the leads that I set for him. So he doesn't do any door knocking or anything like that whatsoever.
okay. Okay. So for me, I mean, I'm by myself, and right now I'm probably 15 leads a week at least. It's just me and my office manager. But for me, I'm very proactive with it. I've got a lot of referral partners I do work with. So I always stay in front of them by, sending them thank you cards, Christmas gifts. Like last year, I got everybody that I at least got 3 roofs from. Everybody that referred it or their team, I sent them a Yeti with their logo on it, not mine. So so when they see that logo, they think about me, but they also get to see their own logo. So I've tried to make that about them. But I pass out so passing out things like that, but I'm also part of a B&I group. I got my office manager in a B&I group, which is a industry specific. So like there's one roofer in it if you're not familiar with it. So
Yeah, I'm familiar.
okay. And for me, I don't do a lot of commercial. So if they want to bring a commercial roofer in, they can bring a commercial roofer in. I don't care. As long as that's all he's, going to focus on. But, so we're both part of a B&I group. I work with a lot of realtors. Honestly, I think realtors are better referral partners than insurance agents are in year round without being like cyclical. Because if you don't have a storm, you're still going to get referrals from realtors because houses are going to buy and sell all the time. And then insurance agents, I do still like market and network with insurance agents, but for me, that's how I build my business. It's like, I don't spend any money on billboards. I need to talk to my web design person about doing Google local service ads, but I haven't done any yet. I've heard some good things about them, but I don't do Angie's List, Home Advisor, or anything like that. Like they're all trash. I'd rather not pay for that.
I understand that. When you talk about realtors, now realtors to me have always been a pain in the butt. Like we've gotten jobs from them over the years, but these tend to be the people that are in the middle of a high stress real estate transaction, needs to close tomorrow. I need this roof inspection. I need it now. You get a lot of unpaid. They want an estimate. They need an estimate to negotiate with. They're not actually going to buy anything. How do you handle that so that the realtor is an asset to you instead of just another way to waste your time and get a little bit of business every once in a while?
So that's a good question, and it might vary depending on market because if yours is like 90% or 100% retail and not like insurance at all, what market are you in? You're up northeast, right?
Yeah, I'm outside of Philadelphia.
Okay. So you guys probably don't get the hailstorms that we get, but for example, so when we get a hailstorm, like realtors refer us like crazy, and every time, people are always reaching out, so if I've got a realtor who's helped 100 clients over the, last 3-4 years, that's potentially 100 people in that market that I have access to through that realtor. They may have their own roofer, et cetera, but I would say that the thing is with the 1099 and you guys are just passing him leads, are you paying him like every time he goes out to look at it, or only when he gets the job?
Only when he gets the job.
Okay. So it's probably not too encouraging for him, but my plan is when I'm growing my team, everybody's going to have a little tiny base salary. If I can't supply that salary and I don't train them properly, then it's not going to make sense. But that way they're W-2 and they were working specifically for me. So they have a full-time job because some of those realtor leads are trash. But if you work with enough realtors, especially ones that are listing agents, you're going to be the first guy that they're talking to. If you look at it before they list it, you're looking at it before their buyer's even involved. So it's just training those guys. And so some of the realtors I work with, I'm in one right now that is a fucking nightmare warranty manufacturer claim with GAF. And they literally, if you have a basic warranty with GAF, they're literally the worst manufacturer to deal with. They don't pay for crap. So here's the thing, I sell 80% GAF. but you know, if you register a system warranty, if my clients had it, you know, that's not an issue. But both sides are just nut job realtors who are high stress, don't sell a lot. But I got involved because of the insurance agent. So I'm here helping them on this, and everybody's freaking out about this deal, and I'm like, it's not a problem. But so it just, I mean, it really depends. It's how you market. Like for me, I am a roof inspector. Like I'm not a salesperson, but I do catch everything that pops up. So I mean, I will be replacing this roof because of the manufacturer defect. It's just, you've got, yeah, like you said, high stress people on both sides of the deal. But I mean, when you're replacing a $25,000 roof, I'll deal with some high stress people every now and then. Not every single one's like this, but yeah, so I would say my biggest thing for me and how I'm going to grow my team, and I don't know if this is going to work in your market, is my guys are going to have a small base salary when I start to build my sales team, to make sure they are W-2 and make sure they're, you know, this isn't a voluntary sales meeting where you have a choice because you're 1099 to come or not come. Like, you're going to be here. If I can't, you know, if they're not selling, then, and we have like specific markers of what they need to be, like quota, then they just don't work there anymore. And then we move on and we get the next person in the funnel of training and everything. But you probably can't do that in your market. I don't know if it'll work to supply someone with a $20,000 salary and then, you know, a decent commission to support them.
Well, I can do it okay with the salespeople. Like the guy I've got now, I've got him on a draw, so he gets through the winter and everything. And I've worked a relationship with him to the point where I know it works for him. I make sure it's working for him, and then he's there to sell jobs when I need him to.
Yeah, I would say just turn that draw into a salary and keep them, you know, full time. Give them a small quota.
I like to keep him. With him with some skin in the game though, because he's a good guy, but if I gave him a straight salary, he'd drop off. Yeah,
$20,000. I mean, in my opinion, like that's what my salary was when I worked at my previous company. I mean, it was nice to get a couple $600 checks every other week because it made the wife happy, and I got her off my back. You know, I was bringing in some money, and then you combine my salary. I mean, I get one salary check a month that was 20 grand, and she was fine with that.
Sure.
But yeah, the $600 coming in, you know, did help, and it did keep me loyal to the company, especially early on.
And Andrew,
yeah,
I think something that would be cool for you and Chris to talk about outside of this meeting to go deeper is your strategy with the realtors, because I think it's easy for you to summarize that, but you do that exceptionally well. I mean, you don't knock doors, you get constant referral business, and by yourself, you know, your goals, I think, is at least 2 million this year by yourself as the only sales guy. So you're just doing that so well. And I think that's something that other people can learn a little bit from.
Yeah, I had to change. I just yesterday, I had to change my childhood. I've had this phone number for 17 years. And it turned into a business number rather than a personal number. And so I literally yesterday went to AT&T, and it's now on my a second line on my office manager's cell phone number, because I get so many calls, leads, different things coming in. It's taking too much time for me to train these people to call the office number, and they're not even doing it. So I'm just like, screw it, everybody. So she's answering the phone now. And it's catching people off guard already today. She's told me the stories, but yeah, so I mean, it's fine. I'd be happy to talk to you about that, but realtors are great, especially, I mean, in the market that we're in right now, people are buying and selling. If you can build those relationships, that's long-term residential revenue right there. Because my winter months don't go down at all. We stay, I mean, all of our real estate deals stay consistent through the year.
That's great. Andrew, thank you for the feedback, and thank you everybody. I apologize. I've got to meet this guy at 12:30. He's meeting me on his lunch break. But I'll talk to everybody soon. Okay.
Take care.
All right. Thanks, guys.
See you.
All right. See you later, Chris. And I think, Doss, for you, I think it'd be really good for you to share some stuff with Chris about what you guys have learned about lead generation for residential specifically, because that's a lot of leads, man. That's a lot of leads. So, all right, well, Andrew, let's move on to you, man. Would you like to use, knowing that this is going to go on your vision traction organizer, would you like to use a 10-year or a 5-year? It says 10-year target. There is a big section for 3-year picture. So don't feel like you have to go with 5 to make something that's more near in the future. We are going to fill up that 3-year picture specifically. So what number would you like to go with?
So my goal is 20 million
Okay.
in 5 years with 3 locations. So right now, I don't know what the third market is going to be. I mean, I'd do some market research and stuff. But I mean, I'd love to be in a retail market, because honestly, like Chris is probably way more consistent than except for through the winter for their time. But retail is probably so consistent because you can be super proactive. If in a hail market, it's just sometimes there's so much reactiveness to, when a hailstorm comes in, you're doing, substantially more business. So it's hard to plan. But for me, I want 3 locations. So at least I'd start in Oklahoma City and then have a second location in Tulsa around my 3-year goal. But yeah, $20 million in revenue, average project size of 15,000. So right now we're 13,000. So I need to sell upgrades. How do I sell like higher, quality roofing material and stuff like that? Because, I'll do impact resistant, but, done 2 Belmont roofs this year. That's it, just because it was, GAF Camelot. We literally just switched it to Belmont because we couldn't get Camelot. But everything else is, either standard laminated or like impact resistant. But I've kind of talked with the guys at F-Wave. So our local F-Wave representative is now, and Joel mentioned this before, that they're trying to push that, is he's passing me like all the leads that they call, so if people call them to contact them for more information. If they're in the Oklahoma City market, our rep's been giving that information to us. So just trying to get the first one now on that. But so selling upgrades, building, price per project up. But yeah, I by the end of next year, my goal is to have 5 million people, or 5 million in revenue, and then 5 salespeople. So, but that's by the end of first quarter having 2, and then by the end of the 5th quarter having 5, and then possibly 1 who's going to be trained as the sales manager, sales role at first and then change into a sales manager. So that's where I'm working at for next year. But yeah, and I'm also right now I'm also creating a kind of like similar to the coaching plan in my Kajabi, just doing a master class for training all of our residential salespeople. So for the next year, once we bring someone on board, they're going to be going through like a 6-week sales training program with like videos on the job training, some specific books, metrics they'll have to meet through their 6-week training program, because if they don't meet it, then they're not going to be working here. But that's why I'm going to give everybody a salary, is because, it's like, hey, I want them to be full-time and I want them bought in. And if I can't afford a $20,000 salary for a sales guy, then what am I doing in business? So
yeah, no, that's good. So you think you're going to do about 2 million this year, maybe by the end of this year?
Yeah, but that's next year. I'm trying to you 5 people with about 1 million in revenue for average for those 5 people. And then maybe me doing a little bit, because some of those people I might hire in the 3rd quarter next year. And then, but have them by the end of the 4th quarter is my goal. So I don't expect to get a full 1 million from every single person. And then I'll probably do, 1.5. I don't want to do much next year. I want to actually start working in the business, unless on it. Well, working on it, not in it, excuse me. But yeah, so 20 million is my revenue goal. I told my wife as soon as I hit 15, I was like, I'm buying myself an Audi. I was like, that's gonna be my my treat to myself. We don't have any kids and stuff, so I get to spend my money on myself.
Like the one Tony Stark drives in the Avengers.
Hey, that's exactly what it is. Audi R8.
Pretty sweet. So
So
what specific questions do you have for the guys in the group so you can leverage their wisdom to help you get there? And then I'll let them give more specific feedback, but I want to make sure if you do have one or two questions, they do go answered.
yeah, so I mean, I'm in the process of bringing one of my roofers on board as a lead service person. And then once we start to get a little bit more, like I'm going to reach out and build relationships with electricians, plumbers, because, you know, they're moving stuff on the roof occasionally. And so how can I keep my guy busy with that is network with them and then bring a second guy on. But I don't do any commercial. I mean, I for the sake of like just being able to tell people I don't do commercial, like I haven't even got my license yet. I expect to pass the test pretty easily. I know kind of what needs to happen for OSHA. I'll probably read the book still. But as for starting up like a commercial department, how much should I expect is, you know, in revenue if I actually got like a salesperson who handles or two that handles commercial, because I've never hired commercial subs. So really that's kind of my thing is I'm planning this 5-year goal is if I don't even do any commercial. But if I do commercial, I mean, obviously I would up that goal, and then how much should I expect to be doing? I mean, I know commercial can be very lucrative just getting one job, but you know, you're not going to bring every job every week. I don't know. You could with 2 people, but yeah. So what do you guys have on information for that? Like, what could I expect?
Joel, I'll let you go first, and then Das, I want you to weigh in too.
Well, I would say, I would say hire me.
Okay.
So and really that's what I tell people, like when I'm down in New Orleans or in Florida, talking to the roofing contractors that do just residential. I'm like, look, you go make the relationship with the customer. I'll come in and help you estimate it and sell it. And then I can even do the job. And then you watch the whole process. And then after a couple of them, or maybe just one, you go, you know what, I got it. But then you might even say that, hey, this is kind of easy. I'm going to go sell more work like you were talking about earlier, and just let me do all the other work. So all you got to do is you have those relationships and close the deals. We make everything else happen.
Percentage revenue wise, like what's your split on commercial and residential?
We're probably 70% residential for this year and 30% commercial.
Okay.
Next year we'll probably be flip-flopped because we're doing a bunch of estimates and proposals right now for our commercial customers that haven't done anything in 2 years. And next year is probably going to be a lot of commercial work.
Would you say most of yours is just maintenance? It's not, you know, or maintenance or repairs, or full like re-roofs?
Well, for this year, more maintenance and repairs, and even last year.
Okay.
But next year, I'm sure we'll do at least, $12 million to $15 million, and it'll be 70% commercial stuff, just because everybody's ready to buy commercial.
Yeah, it's
And
such
I
a
think we're
different
gonna have
sales
materials
cycle.
available.
Sorry, go ahead.
Because you're doing those estimates so they can plan and budget for next year, right?
Right. Yeah.
That's what
Yep.
I thought. Okay.
Yep. And we'll probably get a couple of big contracts in December where they just have to spend their money, give a contract, and we can't start it until March or whatever, when the weather clears up, or just whenever. But they'd like to at least sign contracts this year to save it for next year.
Okay.
But yeah, like I was telling Dost earlier, commercial it's so easy, but it like Dylan said, it's a longer sales cycle. So you have to build it and build it and build it and keep like spinning the tops. You got to just keep it spinning and just leave it. Go talk to that customer, send them cards, take them to lunch, whatever, then just kind of leave and let them percolate a little bit. And then you come back and touch them again. Hey, how's that leak doing? Did we fix it or not? Or whatever. Or when's the budget coming up? Can we get you some numbers on replacing that one section, or you want to replace all the sections, or are you looking at buying property in other buildings? Let me go out there and do the inspection for you, sir. So before you buy the building, we'll know what kind of condition the roof is in. Because if the roof is asbestos or 3 layers or all wet, bad decking, that can get into $15 to $20 a square foot in a heartbeat.
So Joel, it sounds like you're saying if Andrew could sell the job through relationships, you could kind of team up with him and do the job and let him learn from you.
Right. Yeah.
That way you can learn the system, the process and stuff. Do you ever do any kind of joint venture or anything with other roofers or contractors, or no?
No, we've.
Oh,
I
okay. I
haven't.
wasn't sure who you were asking.
Gotcha. Okay.
Andrew,
All right.
you?
Good feedback.
I've never actually done anything like that with another roofer. No.
I've just heard horror stories about people that have done the joint venture itself. So I work for money,
Yeah.
So if I'll come down and do an inspection for free because it's a free inspection. But then if we say, hey, it's $1 million job, I say I want 10%, or give me the labor, and it's going to be 30% profitability. So you make money.
What market are you in?
Little Rock, Arkansas, and we do Louisiana and Texas.
Oh, okay.
And Oklahoma.
Gotcha.
You planning on spreading into Longview, Texas?
Yeah. I'm
So-
looking at a spot right now.
So Dos, what about you? With Andrew's goal here of getting up to 20 million in residential, hiring more sales guys. I mean, you've obviously done this very well. You've scaled, you've kind of done what Andrew wants to do, but he's got a higher revenue target for strictly residential. What kind of feedback do you have for him on that?
I think he's on target with the understanding that he's got to hire more salespeople. A lot of the guys we hear speak is what they're going to go to first, right? If you want to do $5 million, you need $5 million salesmen, and that's what they need to sell. And so you got to go find those guys, and you got to hire them, train them, and get them on board. I think waiting into the third and fourth quarter to hire them, I mean, I understand why he may want to grow slow, but I don't think you'll get to 5 million unless you hire these guys early in the year. So, if you have a good social network that you could reach into, pick you some guys and convince them to come into your company. That's what I would focus on, getting those new sales guys as quickly as possible and getting them trained before the season opens, if you will. But they got to get on board. And I realize you want to pay them a salary, and that's noble, and I like that. But, if you can get guys convinced that, hey, you're going to make good money, and it's going to be tough for 3 months, but after that, you're going to be doing really, really well. Come in February or early March. Well, earlier would be better, obviously. Get them through that program you had just mentioned. I do three guys right out of the gate, probably, if I was you. If you can, and I can't say that I have great experience with that, but I've have enough experience to know that if I want to double my business next year, I got to double my salespeople next year. And you want to do more than double, so you got to immediately now. We're looking at hiring some guys now. I've got a good couple of prospects, and I'm hiring them now, and I'm telling them, look, if you don't have money saved up for the next 3 months, it's not going to work. But you come on board, and let me show you the path. I think that's what you should drive for. If you want to get to that, sounds like you want to at least double your business next year. I'd say get 2 or 3 sales guys on board immediately, or as soon as you can. And I mean, it sounds like you've got from your experience and what you're doing as a sales guy, that you have a lot to teach. You know, you have a lot to show them. You have a lot that they can copy from you. So I think you should be the sales manager immediately. And, you know, you get these guys, 3 or 4 of them that you talk to every morning and say, let's go, guys. And I think you'll make it happen.
Yeah, I figured it early on I'm gonna have to be the sales manager. You know, obviously, maybe there's one person that I thought would be a good sales person. I thought, you know, I reached out to him, kind of talked with him about potentially bringing him on. He runs he's a general manager at one of the local restaurants here, pretty big restaurant. I mean, they're there's like 4 of those restaurants here, and he's like they have the busiest location. So I know he can handle stress. He's in hospitality, so he's in that area of where, you know, I used to work in a restaurant for like 3 years. So, I mean, I kind of understand the mindset, but those are the type of people that I'm kind of looking to hire. I thought he'd be good as a salesperson, but I think in rethinking again, I'm like, well, I can bring him on as a salesperson with the idea of training him to be a sales manager.
Hey, let me throw something out at you for a good place to recruit right now is Verizon phone salespeople.
Okay.
I don't know if you use, maybe AT&T is doing the same thing, but they're reducing these people's commission and not treating them very well. And we're about to hire the Verizon salesman that we've had for about 4 years. So we know him well. He knows our company well. He's a great salesman. And I mean, they just dropped his pay to the point to where he's leaving. And plus they're making him do a vaccine, which he doesn't want to do. So it's a good place to go and recruit if you have a relationship with either AT&T or Verizon salespeople, you know, because they work on commission.
Okay.
They're used to commission. They get a very small salary and they work on commission. I mean, all you guys may want to go down to your Verizon store and hire the best salesman over there.
Boy,
Yeah,
and they're
yeah.
used to dealing with all kinds of personalities. Yeah.
I'm really excited about bringing this guy on.
Well, Andrew, I think, you know, we don't have enough time to really unpack what Doss has done with Clean Cut, but he's got a really, really great training program, process, even the way he treats his sales guys with the truck and all kinds of stuff to set them up for success. And yet at the same time, maintain goals and accountability. They've just done that really well. We've talked about that in the past, but I think it's something you guys could talk about offline as well. If you guys haven't noticed, I'm really trying to encourage discussion outside the group. And somebody needs to call Tracy, by the way. He hasn't been here for the last couple of meetings. I don't know what he's been doing, but somebody needs to get a hold of Tracy Bookman and see how he's doing in Colorado. But I think you guys have a lot to talk about offline with that, because Andrew, for me on the outside looking in, I really like that plan. I think the weakest link in it, the biggest limiting factor is you being able to delegate and elevate yourself. So like they said, if you could become the sales manager, you're already such an aggressive networker and so good at generating organic leads. I think if you could become a sales manager and duplicate yourself and maintain the networking and even focus more on it strategically, get your guys to start focusing on it, I think you could get there. I really do. So anyway.
No, I appreciate it.
Yeah,
that's I think 5 is a real good goal next year, going from 2 to 5. I don't think it's a big, hairy, audacious goal for next year. But yeah, I think if I get the right people in place, next weekend we start filming the videos to put our training system together for basically onboarding all the employees. So
yeah,
my goal is to have that all set by the end of the year.
Yeah, and there's a good interview I did with Brad Barron. He's the chief operating officer for Cornerstone Construction. That's Hunter Blue's company that he sold at 8 locations. But he calls it I believe he called it the race to 15. So they try to hire 15 sales guys anytime they open a new branch. 15 sales guys in the first 90 days.
Wow.
And so of course you can do the numbers. If each sales guy can average $1 million a year. But anyway, they've done that very well. And he had a great exit from Cornerstone. So anyway, that's a great podcast to listen to, and we can continue talking about all that. All right, so Miller, we're going to end with you, man. I know your answer is a little unique for Rain Tight, but what are you thinking for the next 5 years? What's your big, hairy, audacious goal looking like?
And I think it's like not doing as much Rain Tight stuff, doing more limitless stuff. I don't know if everyone knows, but Dylan and I started Limitless in last year, and kind of immediately I saw that, wow, this is like a way that I could get out of the roofing business. I've been doing this full time since 2003. It's 18 years, and I'm just ready for something different, and I still like the industry, and I like so much about it. I think the thing that satisfies me the most, through, having sales guys through the years and whatever, has just been helping other people, helping other guys to do well and to succeed. And I think maybe Limitless will be that on the next level, like kind of a broader reach, where with Rain Tight, it was just, however many sales guys I could hire here in Dallas locally to help. And but with Limitless, it's more of a national thing, where I think I'll be able to help more people to grow in this business and to gain wealth too. Dylan and I also did a consulting deal earlier this year, and that was really fun. It's like so fun to see other people do well. Whenever you've done the thing, you've sold the big roofs, you made the big sales, that you want to see other people do it. And so that's been really satisfying for me. So I'd say probably a 5-year goal would be that Limitless is what I'm doing full time, and Rain Tight is either delegated out, sold, or just done very part-time.
It's good stuff. So what do you got? Do you have any questions for the group on how to accomplish that goal? Any specific questions, or just want to get their feedback?
Yeah, just hear what they have to say.
All right. So Doss, what's Miller going to do with Rain Tight if he goes full-time Limitless?
You can sell it to Clinker.
Oh, I hear a bidding war going on.
In Waddington, Dallas.
All right.
I got 3 text messages during this meeting, people asking for roofing jobs for Rain Tight. I don't want to do any of them.
Well, I'll take the leads.
Yeah. Pass them this way. No, I'm excited for you, Miller, if that's what you feel like you should, the direction you guys are going. I know you're that's where your heart is at. So, any way we can help you guys get there, I'm all for it. You know that. So,
What's the dollar amount that you need to be making through Limitless to be able to not have the income from the roofing company? Or is it like an amount of people, maybe, that instead of talking dollars, how many people or how many groups do you need?
I don't really know. I'd have to defer to my CEO on that question.
Where is he?
So that's the there you go. So you're not ready. So that's the first thing you need to know is your cash flow.
Yeah.
How many groups do I need to have? And then how many paying members do I need, or, whatever, to be able to not do this or only make a little bit of money off of that.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Well, we're looking at doing some other things too, other outside of just the CEO groups. Okay. And so we don't know how much of our income will come from that and how much will come from the CEO groups yet, but we're still looking at all that, trying to see how it's going to go. I mean, we've got some definite things up in the air right now that could be a hard steer right or a hard steer left. So we're not really sure what's going to happen with that.
So what do you think would need to be a revenue? Would you need to be making, would you be okay making 100 grand a year, 200 grand a year, or is it more of a thing before you said, before you decide, you know what, I really got to figure out who to hand rain tight off to. Is that something you've thought about?
Yeah, I have, and I really don't know what to do with rain tight yet. That's a problem for another day, but yeah, I would say, I'd like to be making at least 400 or 500 grand a year, just through Limitless.
Yep. It's good. Good questions. What else? What could Miller's transition look like away from rain tight?
What is,
Well, I think
oh, go ahead.
I think you need to, start promoting Limitless, either for sale or a general manager. I prefer the general manager role, so you can still keep the cash flow. It's still kind of your baby, but you make less money off of it. It's kind of guaranteed as long as you keep touching it, keeping it going. But as long as you're set up with good systems in place, that it's it's that consistent cash flow.
So keep rain tight, but basically let somebody else run it.
Yeah.
I
Just
agree.
offer a general manager role is what you said?
Yeah, I
Right.
agree.
Yeah.
Okay.
What would you pay somebody like that, Joel?
I mean, it'd probably, depending on the market, I mean, you're looking at $70,000 a year plus a truck. And then I would do the profit sharing, maybe 10%, 20% of whatever the profit is. That way they're watching the bottom line, and it's a good nugget. It's not like 1% of the
Yep.
profit, but like 10% or 15% of the profit, because you're not looking at that as your income anymore. Now it's just more of a cash flow thing, just keeping some money coming in.
Mm-hmm. Okay. I hadn't really thought about that, but I think that's a good way to think about it for
Yep.
sure. Huh. Okay.
You don't have a general manager right now. Like, what's your structure right now for rain tight?
It's just me and sales guys and a bookkeeper.
Okay. Gotcha. So there's probably some structuring you can do to probably eliminate some of the stuff that you're doing every day to day in the business.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Okay. Is your bookkeeper act as like kind of an office manager admin person?
Yeah,
Or
a little bit.
Just strictly. Okay.
No, it's kind of office admin too.
Okay. So yeah, I can see where after 18 years, it'd be kind of stressful.
Mm-hmm.
But or was it 18 years, or did you say it was 13? I can't remember.
18.
Oh, okay. Yeah.
Yep.
That'd still be a lot. So I would imagine maybe some restructuring of the organization, kind of putting some people in place. And like he said, it's all, the cash flow is always going to be there. The brand's always going to be there. And I'm sure doing 18 years, you guys got people calling for their, in Texas, probably 4th or 5th roof.
Mm-hmm.
And so I would say, find a good office manager, find a good general manager, and you could probably put some more salespeople out there that can be managed by them.
Mm-hmm.
So then you're having to deal with less of the day-to-day stuff, and not have to kind of make sure all the guys are hitting their quotas, and we're checking the numbers on the projects, etc.
Mm-hmm. Yep.
But that's all. I mean, that's all I have. I mean, obviously, it's being with more salespeople. I can imagine the headache of managing that many people directly.
Mm-hmm. Yep. Yeah, I was gonna say about your deal, if you're trying to grow, I tried to do that, but I tried to wear all the hats, and that was the problem. Is I tried to be the project manager, the sales manager, the owner, everything, and it's very stressful. And so you've got to find a way to hire someone or to bring someone along with you that can help kind of divide up your responsibilities, because it's a lot of stress.
I've been giving my office manager some more responsibilities lately, and try to be more of a leader, and let her, hey, you don't have to come to me for every single question. Like, there will be times that you'll be, asked a question, you might just have to answer it on the spot. I'm trying to empower her a little bit to take on a little bit more and all the like production stuff right now, because I did have a project manager. He didn't work out. He just wasn't getting it. So I had to let him go. But so now she's kind of coordinating a lot of the stuff. And then, when the job actually goes, I've been out there sometimes, and, in between. So we'll put a like 30-minute block where I'll drive to a project and check on it a little bit and then get out of there so that people, know we're in and out. But yeah, I decided I'm not going to hire a project manager yet. Again, I'm going to hire a production assistant, and my service guy, when he comes on, is going to be that specific person. So he's going to kind of like start the jobs, be out there at the start, kind of get them some stuff if they need it, but he's also going to be we'll schedule repairs in between. And then I'll split it to where he's just doing repairs and service work, and I have a production assistant who's just out at jobs, and we can schedule all that stuff in-house. So,
hey, did you see the deal we did with Chuck Thoki a couple weeks ago? Were you on that?
I wasn't on it.
Go back and listen to it. Dylan posted it in the group.
Yeah,
Go
I
listen
saw
to
that.
it. Oh,
I think
dude, so good.
We just had another hailstorm in Norman, which is freaking killing me. Because I've got one lady who's going to be filing her third claim in just over a year now. So
Wow.
replaced 2 roofs, and I told her, I was like, Amy, we're not doing another roof for you unless it's impact resistant this time, because her neighbor, we put impact resistant on the neighbor's house and it was fine.
Wow.
So, I mean, we had probably 5 minutes of, quarter, $50 and some, golf ball mixed in there, not a lot. And the neighbor was totally fine. And she's just hers all beat up on the front. I mean, we replaced the garage door 2 times this year already.
Oh my
I mean, the
goodness.
garage door looks like a golf ball.
Wow.
So,
Well, yeah, go back and listen to Chuck's deal, because it was so enlightening.
Yeah.
Really, really good interview thing he did.
Yeah. I saw him at RoofCon. He was pretty good.
Oh yeah.
Yeah. I was pretty surprised on like some of the stuff he was talking about. I mean, he still talks about doing sales right today, or like some of the sales calls. He's like, I still knock doors. Like, geez, man, I get tired of that. But yeah, so now I'm just working on setting up all the systems and processes and stuff to bring my salespeople on. The problem is I'm not a very system process person, so creating that structure like takes a lot of energy from me. My office manager is great, but she's just busy trying to deal with other stuff. She can't help me do all of that back end stuff to, create videos and our onboarding system and stuff. So that's all on me, and I'm doing it on weekends right now. But
You're doing it though.
I realized putting the time in it right now is going to save me a lot of time in the future.
Yeah.
And I can bring, having a 6-week plan and having videos watched with it, specific tasks and things that they have to do through the 6 weeks, they should be able to sell a lot faster. Because I mean, I basically followed some people around in a truck when I started in the industry. It took me 4 months to sell my first roof and 7 total months to sell my second roof.
Wow.
So like I didn't make like a lot of money at all, but it's like, all right, after 6 months or after 6 weeks, like these people should be able to sell 3 roofs, 5 roofs a month, because they're going to be, they're going to know enough about it, and then they're going to know enough about roofing to make the client feel comfortable. So.
Well, awesome.
Well, good feedback, guys. All right. So your homework this week, or at least before our next meeting in 2 weeks, is to put a number and put those details down on your vision traction organizer. You've got the Word doc format. So as we go along, it should be filled up to this point so far. So that's my challenge to everybody. And just want to encourage you guys to give each other a call, talk offline if you want to go deeper on any of this stuff. But thanks for joining this group, and thanks for all your feedback. And we'll see you guys in a couple of weeks.
Appreciate it, guys. Take care.
See you guys.
All right, bye.